If keeping the Negro, if keeping the African person mentally enslaved and colonized equals salvation for the rest of mankind, then mankind will forever remain ignorant and controlled. I want to thank you for tuning in. This video is in response, not really response, it's just a more detailed video as to why I created how interracial dating can be dangerous in a post-colonial world. I think that's how I titled it. But what I am saying here, emphasis on post-colonial, because we have not ended as Black people. I know that, in America, we want to pretend like, slavery ended and things are all good now. We've all integrated, we've all assimilated, the Black people, they're us now. So things are all good. They don't need to be who they were before, No, we don't need to be who we weren't that. That was our ancestors. That wasn't us. That was them. They were African, not us. No, we are FBA. Okay? We are FBA. We are not African. No, we are Aboriginal because we were already here before Columbus. That has nothing to do with us, okay? So, as long as it's okay for us, and even, let me just say this really quick because I found this really interesting. Apparently they are teaching in schools now. They are teaching what we prefer to be identified as in school. The colonial educational system is teaching that we prefer to be called Black and not African American. And yes, I know a lot of you probably agree with this, right? You prefer to be called Black. I'm not African. That was them. That wasn't me. That was them. This is why I made the video, because they have convinced and reverse psychologied, if that's even a term, used reverse psychology on us to convince us that we don't you dare call us African, okay? We are Black. We are Black to their white. We are Black to their white. I think about things very psychologically. I really do. And I really believe it will help us to collectively think this way so that we can kind of catch, the ignorance. Right? We can catch it. We can get ahead of it. We can finally get our pieces on the chessboard, get our pieces together and actually start winning some hands, okay? Winning some moves. But the reason why I made this video of why interracial dating can be dangerous post-colonialism, okay? Post-colonialism, because we're still in it. And a lot of people, they get on and say, well, you should marry or you should date who you fall in love with. Okay. As if nowadays we are falling in love before we even get to know each other. Okay. That's what a lot of people are doing, which is why they don't know each other, which is why the relationships only last for like 3 days, because we don't know each other. We don't even know ourselves. But the most dangerous part is us as Black people. We are not fighting for ourselves. A lot of us, especially in a lot of these towns, when we grow up and we go to a lot of these white schools, right, where it's predominantly white, I really want you to just see how it hurts our minds, how it affects us. Because a lot of us will, these are our friends. So as I said, we have assimilated. We have gotten rid of not only have we lost our languages, but we sound and we think and we move just like those who identify as white. So when you see us, it's like sometimes you don't even see the African within anymore. You don't even hear the African within anymore, because as I just said, the school system is teaching what we prefer to be called now. We not African American. And the person who told me this, I said, well, you know what? I'm actually the person, a Black person, and I prefer African American, because now I understand the importance of putting that African. At first, I was like other people who didn't understand the importance of it. That's because I was still very mentally colonized. I was the little girl in school with my hair down my back, thinking that I was better than the other sister sitting right next to me because her hair was as short as mine right now. Okay, I'm thinking I'm better than her because I got long hair. I'm thinking I'm better than her because my great grandmother was half Native American. Okay, I'm thinking I'm better. So I grew up in this system. My family grew up in this system. I understand what it's like to be in the system and to transform out of it, to elevate out of it. And that's what I'm trying to spread. I'm trying to help people see in the back who aren't listening, trying to help you elevate as well. Because if we can all get on the same page, we can finally start learning to love ourselves. I want to just share with you how liberating it is to be surrounded by people who not only look like you, but who are proud of who they are. You know, I was able to be in an experience where I'm around other African people who are wearing their natural hair, wearing their braids. No, not everybody, of course, but a large number were. And it was just so liberating. And you just felt like you fit right in, like you were finally coming home. And then, you know, to be in that group again, where you're the only person comfortable to wear locks. You know, I have starting mine. You're the only person comfortable to do this. And everyone else around you has assimilated. Or if they have not assimilated, they are, the rest of the people that you are around identify themselves as white. And so you have to hold that collective, that self-respect. You have to hold on to that dignity and not lose it, because it's very easy to lose it. It's very easy to lose your confidence in that kind of surrounding, that kind of setting. And this is why I'm saying it can be dangerous. I understand, you know, and I see a lot of people in my daily life who are of mixed race, biracial, however they prefer to identify. I see a lot of these people in the community. And the only thing that I'm concerned about is the mind. I am concerned about the mind. I am not, as I said, a lot of us, we want to equate racism. We want to equate Black racism to actual racism. We want to equate that and say that it's similar, that it's the same. It is not at all the same. We keep equating our suffering to a system called white supremacy. We keep equating that. There's no equation. You can't equate it. And that's how it tricks you. That's how it keeps us dominated. That's how it keeps us lost and controlled. And that's how it keeps us from fighting for who we are, because we are uncomfortable. We get into these settings and we say, well, you know what? I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to talk about it. And we don't talk about it. We never have the conversations. Even when you get into these relationships, you never have the conversation. Even when you get into a relationship with someone else who identifies as Black, you can't have the conversation. The only way you can have the conversation is if they identify as African. And sometimes I don't want to listen. Let me not say that, because I'm sure someone's going to look at the screen and say, oh, no, she didn't just say that. No, she didn't. Okay. I won't assume that even if you just identify as Black, that you can't have the conversation. But I do want you to hear me when I say that if you are just identifying as Black and you are denying any African in you, that is where the problem lies. That is how the system has tricked you. And it still has a hold on you. It still has a hold on your mind, because you should be jumping out of your seat to identify as African. But we're not jumping out of our seats to identify as African. Okay. We are running out of our seats, running away, to make sure that label does not get put on us. That is the problem. We have to start with our identity. That's where it has to begin, so that we won't be the first Dominican winning an Oscar. We will be the first Afro-Dominican winning an Oscar, and be proud of that. But as I said, we have so many titles, and all of these titles keeps us divided, and it keeps us conquered. Because we don't see the person in South Africa as our brother or sister. We don't see the person in the Caribbean as our brother or sister. We see them as a distant cousin, if we even see them as part of the family at all. They may not even be anywhere on your mind, and that is the problem. That is how we can grow up and be these people who now, it's just so sad to see a lot of us are fighting against critical race theory. Because as I said, we want to keep white supremacy happy. We want to appease it. And we don't even realize that that's what we're doing. Choosing to remain blissfully ignorant, choosing delusion, choosing denial is not going to get us anywhere. I would love to see one day for all of us to be able to come together, all of us, all of the communities be able to come together and unite. But as long as race exists, racism will exist. As long as we are seeing each other as different. But again, we can't come together. We as Black people cannot unite the entire world while a system of racism, while a system of racial hierarchy still exists. That needs to be dismantled first. And we need to build ourselves up first so that we actually have something to bring to the table besides our own division and self-hatred. That's the only thing that we can bring to the table right now. And it makes us very vulnerable, very easily to be manipulated. Because when we see ourselves as inferior. We see ourselves as inferior. Because if you saw yourself as equal, you would be proud to learn your heritage. You would be proud to learn the native tongue that your ancestors spoke. You would be proud to learn that and not see it as inferior. I want you to know that no matter what your age is, if you are still on this planet, this is the teaching planet. That's what Earth is. It's a teaching planet. And if you are still on this planet, you still have lessons to learn. No matter how old you are, you still have lessons to learn. And one of the big lessons that I want to leave you all with is to please, whoever you are, if you see this, please stop with the labels. It's not helping anything. And let me just say this in a different way. Stop with the labels that take you further and further away from who you are, from your heritage. If being American is that important to you, keep the African in front of it, because the African is your actual heritage. It's who you are. It's what's in your DNA. Don't let this system of white supremacy confuse you and reverse psychology you into believing that Africa is a bad thing. Okay, they want us all, ashamed, thinking negatively about the continent so that they can go in and have it all for themselves. They want Africa. I'm going to tell you that. They want it. They want it. So, as I said, the labels, the self-hatred, it all leads to you not fighting for yourself. And as long as we're not fighting for ourselves, that means that we have assimilated. That means that we are comfortable with where we're at. And this government, Donald Trump, America's president, was talking about white genocide in South Africa. And he said he has never seen anything like that before. He has never seen anything like that before. That is the country. That is the world that we live in. They have never seen anything like that before. And why? Because we have assimilated. We have integrated into a system when we have never. We've integrated into a system before we have rebuilt ourselves. We have not built ourselves up before integrating into a system of racism. We were not prepared for that fight. We were not mentally strong for that, but we can get mentally strong by not allowing the system to confuse us, to gaslight us, and to talk us out of our own heritage. Don't let the next generation go by and them not know who they are. Don't allow this world to tear away and take away the only thing we have left that can connect us to who we once were before 1619. And that starts with everyone individually doing the work of loving themselves. And we can't individually do the work of loving ourselves if we are trying to assimilate into a system of racism, white supremacy, trying to make it happy. Now, if you know anybody who identifies themselves as white, that is rooting for you, that actually wants you to remember who you were, remember your languages, that actually, speaks good about the continent of Africa and says to themselves, you know what, I understand history and I no longer want to even identify as white because I know that white is a made up political tool, actually a weapon against you. If you know someone like that, then that is wonderful. But I've never met that person. But if you have, wonderful. But we should not be focused on that. We should be focused on ourselves and on our own liberation and learning how to love ourselves. It should not be up to someone who identifies themselves as white to give you permission to learn how to love yourself. If you are waiting for them to tell you that it's okay, that's the problem. You have to be the one to know that it's okay and to love yourself.